Reports from Sky Italy link Juventus with Vicario and Kolo Muani. Tottenham players heading to the World Cup, and the Standard are reporting that Roberto De Zerbi has three big decisions ahead of the new season. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel and to another edition of the Daily Tottenham News Headlines, where I'll be going through all the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. My name's Leader Dorset Spur, and if you're watching on YouTube, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, please hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Let's get into it. So, Sky Italy have stated that Juventus are interested in signing either Martinez from Aston Villa or Tottenham's Vicario. The Italian club want to sign a new goalkeeper and were ready to make a big push for Alisson at Liverpool, but the club want him to stay. Juventus are now looking into other options, and Sky in Italy report that Martinez at Villa has the right personality they are looking for. Martinez was the subject of interest from Manchester United last summer, but he stayed at Villa Park and helped them to their Europa League triumph. It remains to be seen what Villa's position is on the 33-year-old keeper's future, this time with 3 years left on his contract. Spurs keeper Vicario's future has been speculated on as well this season, with interest from Inter Milan amongst others. He missed the end of the season through injury, and Kinski impressed between the sticks during his absence. Sky Italy have also reported that Juventus are in talks to re-sign PSG striker Kolo Muani, who has been on loan at Tottenham. The France forward, who did not make the World Cup squad following his poor season at Spurs, was on loan at Juventus in the second half of the 24-25 campaign. He wanted to re-sign for them last summer, but the deal did not materialise, so ended up at Tottenham on loan for the season. Juventus are targeting another deal for Kolo Muani, and although the initial discussions have highlighted a gap in valuation, an agreement is thought to be reachable. The Daily Mirror has reported that Manchester United want to offload Marcus Rashford to help new head coach Michael Carrick's transfer budget. And while Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle and Tottenham are monitoring the situation, the club are reluctant to sell him to one of their top-flight rivals. There are 9 Spurs players heading to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, with the deadline having now passed for national football federations to submit their final 26 squad lists to the tournament. It is now confirmed that 9 club representatives that will be heading to the Americas. For 6 of the 9 players, this will be their first World Cup they have been part of, while Christian Romero heads to the tournament looking to defend the title he lifted with Argentina in 2022. So the players that are going are Christian Romero for Argentina, Kevin Danso, Austria, Luka Vuskovic, Croatia, Jed Spence, England, Pap Matassar, Senegal, Pedro Porro, Spain, Lucas Bergvall, Sweden, Mickey van der Ven, the Netherlands, and Rodrigo Bentancur, Uruguay. The Standard have reported that Roberto De Zerbi has 3 big decisions right in if he is to make Spurs competitive next season. Can Vuskovic set in for Romero? Luka Vuskovic has yet to make a competitive appearance for Spurs, but it appears as if his future will be one of the major talking points of the summer. Spurs will be in the market for defensive reinforcements should Romero leave the club in the summer, and De Zerbi must decide whether he believes Vuskovic is ready to step in for the Argentine. De Zerbi will hope that any decision on Vuskovic remains in his hands, but knows interest from the likes of Bayern Munich and Barcelona could tempt the teenager to leave permanently. Number 2, can Kinski become Spurs' permanent number 1? A huge amount of credit must be given to Kinski for the way in which he recovered from his nightmare performance against Atletico Madrid in March to steer Spurs to safety. And number 3, do Spurs need to invest in another creative midfielder? Technical director Johan Langer got it wrong in January transfer window when he insisted that Spurs did not need to be proactive in responding to the slew of injuries that decimated their squad. So I guess I think this is quite interesting, the story of Juventus in looking at Vicario and Martinez. Personally, I cannot put the two keepers in the same context. I think Martinez is a top-class goalkeeper, a real character, a real strange character, to be fair, but a World Cup winner and so on. I really think that if Juventus are going to go for one, it would be more Martinez than Vicario. I think Vicario has more been in line with Inter Milan. Although there have been rumours that he's not looking to leave at all. So it's one of those, isn't it? We really wait to see what's going to happen. But for me, I can't see Juventus going in for both of those. I think it's obviously going to be the better one, in my view, which I think is Martinez. I would love to see him at Spurs. This is just a personal point of view, but I really like him. I think he's a crazy guy, and he just seems to excite as a keeper. I just think he would be a better player in the longer term. But listen, you never know. In football, sometimes players can go to a club and be really, really good. They'll come to another one and be really, really poor. And that's why when you go, okay, we're going to sign this one from this club. Yeah, but he's been poor there. It doesn't necessarily translate. So you can go from one club to another club and your fortunes really change. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. But certainly Italy seems to be the big talking point for Vicario. So Juventus looking to take Rando Kolo Muani. Thanks. See you later. Like I just said, sometimes a player just does not work when they come to your club. And Kolo Muani definitely did not work when he came to Spurs. I don't feel like he ever really wanted to be there. I feel like he kind of was pushed into it because his deal to Juventus didn't go through the first time. And so I think he was kind of, okay, I'll go there just so as I can go to the World Cup, and then didn't end up going to the World Cup because he's had such a poor season. So, yeah, I do think that's likely to happen. He's left Spurs, gone back to PSG. I think he's likely to go there because I think that's where he wants to go. I think they want him, and I think PSG want to see the back of him. But at the same time, it's about the money, isn't it? So, but I'm sure they'll do a deal. The Daily Mirror are reporting about Marcus Rashford. I think the last line of this did make me giggle a little bit because it says Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle and Tottenham are monitoring the situation, but the club are reluctant to sell him to one of their top flight rivals. I don't think we're really rivaling Manchester United at this moment in time, are we? Let's be honest. And I don't think Marcus Rashford is going to want to come to Tottenham when he's had such a successful time at Barcelona. I can see him going to Chelsea, to be honest with you. Manchester United and Chelsea have a history of selling players to each other, so that looks the most likely one to me. But who knows? Newcastle, maybe they can tempt him with the financial firepower that they have. But for me, if he was to come back to England, I would have thought that Chelsea would have been the most likely destination. But who knows? 9 Spurs players going to the World Cup. I think the interesting fact in this one is that the only English player going to the World Cup for England, Jed Spence. Bit of a surprise, to be honest with you, because he's not been a regular starter for Spurs, playing on the left-hand side when he's not really a left back. He's a right back. He can play there and he does okay there, but always has to cut in. So, but I think the interesting thing about Spence going from an England point of view is Tottenham have historically given the most players to England over the years. And I guess it's a bit kind of odd to only see one Tottenham player there. But obviously there'll still be ex-Tottenham players there as well. So I suppose that still kind of counts along the way. And the Standards report about the three big things that De Zerbi needs to do. Vuskovic, I personally don't think Vuskovic is going to be the stand-in for Romero. I think if Romero goes, I think Senesi coming in is probably the answer there. Although I do think that Kevin Danso did a decent enough job there. I think Vuskovic will come back. I think he'll stay at Spurs this season to see what he's like in the Premier League. We will have cup games and stuff to do next season, so I think he will get game time and he'll be able to show what he can do for Spurs, which I think is worth doing. But I don't see him as a replacement for Romero, to be honest. Kinski, number one. I think he's done really, really well for Spurs, obviously, since he came in. Kept us in the league, to be fair, with some saves. Does feel quite sort of set in there. Could be a number one. He's still a very young man, though. So it'll be interesting to see whether Spurs will keep him as the number one. I think that's what he wants to do. But again, a lot depends on what happens with Vicario, if he moves to Inter Milan or, in fact, Juventus, as we've just discussed. And do Spurs invest in another creative midfielder? Well, Maddison coming back is massive for sure. We still don't know what's happening with Kulusevski. So for me, I think it's a no-brainer. We've got Xavi out with his long-term injury, so it's going to be a while before we see him again in a Spurs shirt. So for me, it makes absolute sense to have someone with a little bit more creativity coming in there. I think, we've got a lot of midfielders and we probably need to do a little bit of thinning, a little bit of soul searching about who should stay and who should go. But I think there should be some space in there. We haven't got an out-and-out creative player. And I don't think Maddison can play every game for sure. I think we need to be very careful with him coming back from injury. So, yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. And I think, Johan Langer got it absolutely wrong in January. Banking on players coming back. Clearly, the medical team that he's in charge of were not able to explain to him the situation with the players that were coming back. There's a real disconnect in there, and obviously one of the things that the club needs to sort out this summer, as hinted by Vinay Venkatesham, as to what's not working well, and that relationship is clearly not the best. If he was to being told that there were players coming back and they didn't come back, then that's a real blow. So yeah, I'm looking to hopefully that Johan Langer will be moving on personally, but we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. The transfer window hasn't officially opened. I think there's deals being done in the background, but I don't think they can announce them just yet. Players' contracts don't end until the end of June. I think the window doesn't open until like the 15th of June or something. So I don't think we can really talk about anything being announced for just yet. But hopefully that will come very, very soon, and then we'll be into the thick of it, and we'll be linked with every player under the sun. But hopefully some of them will end up being the players that we get, and we can strengthen this squad ahead of next season, because we definitely need some depth in this squad going forward if we are to stay out of the relegation battle again for a third season, which we definitely do not want. Anyway, thanks for watching and for listening to this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please do subscribe to the channel. Leave us a comment in the comment section on any of these subjects or anything else you think we can talk about. If you're listening on an audio platform, please do follow and leave a review if you can. I'm leader Dorset Spur. I do have my own channel, so if you like this video and like the way I come across, please do come across and say hi, give us a sub as well. That would be absolutely fantastic. So all that's left to say is thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one, and as always, up the Spurs.